Visit No One Likes Us Clothing for all your Millwall clobber. www.noonelikesus.co.uk. Achtung, Millwall.
Zion Fleming, woo, he comes from Amsterdam, he fucking hates West Ham.
That fine voice, dear listeners, was the one and only operatic voice, Mr. Neil Fissler, in the post-match euphoria of a 2-1 win at Bristol City. How are you, Neil?
All aboard the Rowan Express!
Bristol, of course, is the home of Brunel's Great Western Railway, and the Rowett train will be rolling back on the famous line through Swindon, Didcot, and all points back to Paddington tonight, because that train feels like it's wrong. That feels like a really big win to me, Neil. I thought it was a really strong overall performance by Millwall.
Mate, that was absolutely magnificent. I think we'd have bitten somebody's hand off before the game, wouldn't we? If the result, we would go down there and absolutely. I think we outplayed them almost in every phase of the game, except for about the first 5 or 10 minutes. I thought we took our time to get into the game. But once we were into the game, there was absolutely no stopping us. Really, really was a fantastic performance. And hopefully the manager, we mentioned it on our Something for the Weekend show, he's itching to go back to this 5 at the back. Please, please, please do not, because you've seen what happens when we play 4-4-2. We are absolutely flying.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We'll come on to the final phase of the game in a little bit, because I think when we do try and defend, we just do invite on the opposition a little bit. I mean, I don't think Bristol were particularly great today. I was tuned into Bristol City television, listeners, and I was just saying off air to Neil, hats off to our own Carl Bates and Max McClellan, because by comparison, they're like the old school BBC of being impartial and fair and balanced, because when you listen to the rubbish that you get, you have to listen to these away sides television presentations, you'd have thought that Bristol were latter-day Ajax. So I thought they were very poor, to be honest with you, today. And they had little moments at the start of the game where they looked vaguely dangerous, but overall, we controlled them. I thought we controlled the game very, very well.
Yeah, no, they're more one-eyed than Cyclops, aren't they? A lot of those.
An unchanged side. Third game on the spin, unchanged starting 11, Neil. I mean, the only player I'm going to pick out, and I don't particularly mean to criticise, but I thought Tyler looked a little bit off the pace for the whole game. He didn't really threaten. He didn't really do much today. But apart from that, Long in goal, back line of Murray Wallace, Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson, Danny Mack. I thought they were very strong today. Midfield strong again. Billy Mitchell improves game by game for me. George Saville did well. Bury we've just mentioned, and Fleming, Vogel, Sammer and Bradshaw up front. Very hard-working 11. I just think I just want to mention Ty. I think maybe he needs a little bit of a rest, Neil. How do you feel?
Mate, I think if you'd have said to me before the game, and I think we've mentioned it on chats or WhatsApp on our live spaces thing we did, that I would like to see Vogel Slammer or Vogie, because I can't pronounce his name.
Vogie's a good name. Yep.
Yeah. And I think before the game, you were hoping that was going to happen. But that aged well, didn't it, I think?
I think we're mildly critical of playing Bureau. I mean, he's not looked on it recently. I think that, Gary Rowett will make his decision. I suppose you won't want to change a winning side, and maybe that's going to be good. We've often appealed for stability because we've been lurching from team to team, formation to formation, faster than we change chancellors of the Exchequer, listeners. And we found some stability now, Neil. I mean, this was a decent performance today. Make no mistake. Everyone that went down there, 1,100, hats off to them, saw a good Millwall away performance today. Classic.
Yeah, definitely. It was a traditional Millwall away performance, wasn't it? Where we dug in and we didn't give them any quarter, to be honest. I think you're right about Tyler. It worries me that sometimes he looks brilliant, sometimes he looks absolutely shocking, and today was the latter. But hey, he's still only a young player. He's got a lot to learn, and I guess it's all part of the learning experience for him.
And it's in the nature of the creative player to be hot and cold. I think that there's clearly talent. So I'm not going to criticise him particularly. I just think maybe he could do with a bench, in midweek at home to Watford. I don't know. We'll see what Rowett wants to do. But yeah, Mike, you're right. I mean, the game started briskly for Bristol. I thought we were up against it a little bit. There was a chance or a decent looking cross into our penalty area. I think it was inside the first minute. They broke down the right and passed it across, I think just behind their forwards. But apart from that, I've not recorded really in the whole first half any chance. I mean, they looked quick, certainly in the opening 10 minutes, pressed us a little bit. But apart from that, they didn't create any open chances, Neil. I think it was you've got to take your hats off to that defence and midfield performance today, especially in that first half.
Yeah, I think when they put that ball over in the first minute, we kind of scrambled it clear. You thought, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah.
This should be a long 89 minutes. But we grew into the game. And I think, as you said, midfield was absolutely magnificent. I think you can't praise Billy Mitchell and George Saville enough because they were absolutely heroic for us in that engine room. They ran the midfield. Bristol City didn't really have a kick there, did they? And they were a quick team. I'll give them that. See what they want to do. One thing I must say about Bristol City: what does that manager look like? A professional northerner, a short sleeve shirt,
a gilet. Professional northerner. I had a professional northerner on. I was listening to Bristol City television, as I was said. The guy's name was Brian Tinian, and I'd forgotten. I'd written down in my notes one of his early gem before the game was that if Bristol defend well and then score goals, we'll win it. I thought that's not exactly insight, Brian. For any team, anywhere, any time. Defend well and score goals, you're in with a shout of winning it, aren't you? But that's the level that they work at. He was very miserable.
Shit player, shit pundit.
Shit pundit for sure. Miserable, depressive. And he moaned all the way through it that all we did was create chances from set pieces, which we did on multiple occasions in the first half.
That is our strong point, Brian. Yeah? Honestly, but the object of the game, Brian, is to put the ball in the back of your net, and I am
any method appropriate,
I'm really glad we fucked up your weekend, to be quite honest.
He looked really miserable. They did a post-match roundup just as we were trying to sort out the link for this show, listeners. And I thought he looked like he needed therapy afterwards. He was really miserable. Chance from only from a corner for Cooper on 15 minutes. Another chance, 23rd minute. Again, only from a corner, left-sided corner. Another chance again from a corner on 30 minutes. This is headed off the line from Hutchinson, and we were banging at their door. Okay, all via dead ball situations, Neil. But like you just said, there's no points extra for. Flowing football. You don't get the extra points for that. You get them for however the ball goes in the net, don't you?
Exactly. Yeah, but the object of the game is to put the ball in the back of the net. And as long as the ball goes in the back of the net, well, that's all that really matters. I thought Hutchinson was actually unlucky because he had that chance that was cleared off the line.
He did,
and swung at one in the second half that hit somebody and went wide, and I thought that we looked a real handful in their penalty area at set pieces. They didn't really know how to mark us or really how to stop us, did they?
Well, I think the work we've been doing on the training ground is it's not the obvious ball into the box and then the big man gets the header on target. We seem to be heading it back across goal, which seemed to bewilder them. They didn't look at all comfortable, and it was either Hutch or Murray Wallace or Jake Cooper heading the ball from the cross back into the danger zone, and that seemed to put them at 6s and 7s.
And didn't George do it once? Didn't he do that for the goal?
The goal was in the 42nd minute, so that's a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. Bradshaw, there was a ball across. I think Fleming took a shot, didn't he? And then it came back into the penalty area, into the 6-yard box, and Bradshaw had a header on goal, which was saved, but then got up in plenty of time, as my mate Tinian moaned about how much time have we given him to get up off the floor, almost like he's got out of bed, had a stretch, yawned, sorted himself out a cup of coffee and put the ball in the net. That's,
2 or 3 times. Yeah, I know. Mate, not honest, yeah. He should actually have buried the first one.
He should have scored. Yeah.
But to have the way with it all, and it was just rank bad defending by them. It was actually half decent save by the goalkeeper, but he actually pushed it straight back out at him. So, so to get up off the floor and to then put the ball in the back of the net from there. Yeah, you've got to question, where was Bristol City? Yeah, but I don't give a fuck where Bristol City.
No. They're probably all in some kind of support group with Brian Tinian whilst they try and work out. There's no defender troubling Bradshaw. I mean, I thought he showed great reaction time there, Neil. I mean, yes, he missed it
was absolutely
missed a good chance, but you got to put it away, and he did. 1-0 at half time.
Which is something that he's actually missed in the last 2 or 3 weeks, hasn't he? But he's actually missed those kind of chances. But that chance last week he'd have probably missed. In fact, he did miss one, didn't he, from a Vogelsammer? When Vogelsammer had a shot saved and it came back out from the goalkeeper. So, no, fair play to him, and I thought we were good value for that, and that took the wind out of them. I think they lost any idea after that. Not that they had much anyway, but that kind of took the wind out of their sails slightly, didn't it?
It's a wonderful moment. Obviously, I don't know if it must be a different feed. I don't know if anyone else saw it watching the Millwall feed, but when we scored the goal, the director cut to I think they call them colour shots, where they show the crowd reaction, and they had a zero in on the Millwall fan making a wanker sign at the Bristol City end. It's just great.
A goal with a wanker sign at the home fan,
which they swiftly cut away from as soon as they saw what he was doing. Half time 1-0. I think you're right. I think we took the game to them pretty much. I mean, Tinian can moan all he likes about only from set pieces, but we had 3 good chances and we scored. And it's more about their own defensive frailties, really.
We dictated play in that half, to be quite frank, and I think it was only through bad luck that we didn't score 2 or 3 more. We could really have been out of sight. I thought Vogie looked very strong, didn't he? Any time the ball was smacked up to him, he kind of gets to it, and then he looks to play people in. And there was one
strong on the ball, an intelligent player as well, Neil. He kind of looks for the pass, and he likes to flick the ball on. I really hope, just going back to Tom Bradshaw, I mean, he's a confidence player, like all forwards tend to be confidence players. Be great if he can now build on that goal. Yes, it's, he's had a bit of time given to him in the box, but you've still got to put the ball in the net, which he's done. Be great to see him build some confidence and press on from here, because he's a very hard-working forward, and we miss it when he's not there, because, and we'll come back to Bennett a fumble in the second half. But yeah, 1-0 at the break. We were a little bit under pressure at the start of the second. Again, they started quickly, Neil, didn't they, Bristol?
But didn't Maxwell and Carl Bates say that that was his 4th goal or something against Bristol City in as many games, or something like that?
Bradders, is it? It might be. I was tuned into the depression channel of Bristol City. So
you have to listen to Brian Tinian for 90 minutes.
Big shout out to Max and to Carl for their work. Every time I listen to an away sides coverage, I appreciate what you boys do. Chance I got 50th minute.
Stronger in the second half. Yeah, much the same way. We just had to weather the storm, and we weathered it. They didn't really cause us too many problems, did they?
No, I've got a cross early on, the chance. I think it's more of a half chance. I think it's behind the forwards again. Save, I think, by George Long. I think there was a right-sided shot. I think it was their dangerous player, Semenya, I think his name was. Had a shot on the near post, and Long got that away. That was about the only moments. Apart from that, it was pretty much us containing them until the goal, which just bad luck really, Neil, because that was a ball in from the left side, I think, wasn't it? Deflected in by Hutchinson, which is very unlucky on him. I thought Hutchinson played really well today. The whole defence did.
Mate, the only thing I will say negative about that was, where in the hell was Danny McNamara? He was caught being too narrow, just as he was, really, as we were in the first minutes. That was the only way that they were going to trouble us, is we appeared to be, Danny Mack appeared to go with the central defence or with the forward and ignore Semenya out wide. And once you put that ball into the 6-yard box, if there's no forward there, you've got to pray your central defenders aren't there, because our lot always seem to have a problem with putting it in their own net. But I thought it was harsh on us, and it deflated me, actually. I thought, oh, God, here we go again. We're dominating it, and then they go and equalise, and you kind of head drops, and you start wondering. Yeah, it's a typical Millwall reaction, isn't it? But things are going.
You think, that's right. You think we're going to get the 3 points, and then it feels like the game's getting away. I mean, Tinian came as close as he would come to happiness in the whole afternoon at that moment. So the ball's gone in the net, and I think from the Bristol point of view, it was what we've just described about the reverse of where Millwall were, where we were deflated. He was quite openly saying, "Come on, let's push forwards, let's get at them, let's take the games," and blah blah blah.
But I wouldn't take my ejaculation for Tinian. That
thankfully I didn't show that, but we can only speculate. I mean, but I just want to take my hat off to the spine and the steel of the side, because we didn't fold, Neil. You're right about feeling deflated. I thought, oh, here it goes. We're going to concede again, but we didn't. In fact, it was us that scored an error by the goalkeeper and their defender, but a really nicely taken tap in by Zian Fleming. And you've got to be a really good player to get those simple chances, I think, because they're not as simple as they look, are they?
Mate, how good is he looking?
Very good.
We're crying out for goals from midfield, and all of a sudden we've got them. And he is a player, isn't he? He really
is a very good player. It was a kind of a punch for anyone who hadn't seen it. The ball came in. Was it a free kick, or was it? It was a free kick, I think. The ball came in, and the goalkeepers punched it clear, but got involved with their central defender. So it's fallen to Zian, whose first time Neil side-footed it in with it was almost like a putt on a golf course. It was just placed in. And like I just said, you've got to be really good to do that, because it looks easy, but it ain't.
Mate, we mentioned it yesterday about how these foreign players, they practice their technical stuff, and they practice it a lot after training, during training, during the warm-up, and it shows with him. We've been crying out for this kind of player for however long, probably since Tim Cahill. We haven't had goals from midfield like this, have we?
No.
All of a sudden, they've arrived, and he makes all the difference to us. And whatever we paid for him, what was it, £1.75 million?
It's looking cheap now, Neil. I mean, I know it's big Millwall money, but it looks cheap to me.
He has to be worth 10 million at least.
Yeah, and that'll go up goal by goal, because what is he now? 5 goals. He's our top scorer, and I can't see anything injury aside. I can't see any reason why he won't score more goals for us. I think his value will go up.
We had a couple of free kicks, and Vogie took them. And fair play to Vogie. He's a good player, and I'm starting to like him more and more and more every time I see him. But for God's sake, don't let him near a free kick. Not when you've got a wand of a foot on Zian Fleming. Honestly, It just frustrated me a couple of times that Vogie took free kicks when, in fact, I think the goal came from the first goal came from one, didn't it? Where he kind of mishit it, and it.
That's right. Yeah, it was passed back into the danger zone. Yeah,
and it was headed. And that's how Bradshaw scored. But you're thinking beforehand, give it to bloody Fleming, because the boy can hit a ball and he can hit a free kick, especially, can't he? And that's something we haven't had for a very long time.
No, I agree. I kind of think that whenever Fleming goes forward to take a long throw, I mean, we haven't had a decent long throw up until now. We get it with our most talented all-round player who can also throw the ball long with accuracy.
Adrian Siri was probably the last. Yeah, but to be fair, apart from a 2-footed tackle or a punt, is about the only thing the geezer could do. Is he could actually throw the ball into the box from outrageous distances and angles. But yeah, no, mate, it's just a kind of day where you're buzzing after that result. It's probably not great doing a podcast immediately after a game because I can't think of anything. Because I'm just on.
We were going to do a live show, but I think probably immediately after a game, I think you're probably best off just keeping it recorded. We'll come back to the live concept another day, listeners. I just want to mention the late penalty, which should have been buried. Benik Afobe, hang your head in shame, because 90+5, we went with a lung-busting run out of defence from. Saville got clipped, and I want to take my hat off to Shackleton and to George Saville for making that run 95 minutes into a hard game of football where we've been battling for all that time, and then we win a penalty that would settle the game. It was almost dead anyway, Neil, but Benik Afobe's got to score that, and it was a weak penalty, and the goalkeeper got down low to his left, I believe it was, and batted it away. And I just think that's poor when you see the standards that are being set by other players. We've mentioned Vogie and Fleming now. That's poor, in my opinion.
Mate, I'm going to sound like I'm going to give a paracetamol a fucking headache here. But a couple of times, his first touch let us down appallingly. There was one chance on the edge of the box where he came onto the ball, and his first touch was the touch of, I don't know, I'm tempted to say it.
Like me. It's like me playing out there. Be fair. I mean, I wouldn't be any good either.
But the penalty, please, Gary, do not let this man take another penalty for Millwall again. He wants shooting for that, because that was a tame effort. Smack it, put your foot through it, yeah? And then if it goes over the bar, if you've smacked it, so be it. But don't roll it to the goalkeeper like you did.
Very poor. It should have been 3-1. Should have been 3-1. It was 2-1, but there we are.
It was probably the one disappointing thing of the afternoon, really, apart from their goal. Yeah?
Yeah. And I was trying to think, just before we started speaking, why am I disappointed so? Because we've won a good game there. We won a tough place to go. Ashton Gate away is... it's one of those games where you think, yeah, if you get a result there, you've done well. And we were 2-1 ahead, and there's 5 minutes, 6 minutes of added time. We're nearly at the end of that. But I think it comes back to what we've been talking about the last couple of shows, Neil, you and I, about Fleming and this idea that these players set high standards for themselves in training, and they work on their game, the technique. It was really refreshing because we haven't felt it for some time at the Den, where you feel like players are really trying to put the extra bit in to develop their game. And that just looks so sloppy compared with some of the standards being set by other players. And I just feel, I don't know, just left it with a slightly, don't know about a sour taste, but it certainly left a bit of a, don't know. Could have been better, couldn't it? Should have been better.
It leaves an impression because it was the last kick of the game.
Yeah.
And we really did deserve to win it 3 or 4, 5-1, didn't we? Because we were that good.
A couple more, yeah, easily, yeah, with those chances.
I just wonder how H is, because he's absolutely adamant that he wants the manager to go, and we're unbeaten in 3, and we've won our last 2. Yeah. This is the guy who wanted to drive him up to West Brom.
He had his car filled up with petrol and everything, ready to go. He was going to run him.
He did.
I think he was playing himself this afternoon, so we'll catch up with Harry another day. But good win. We came from.
Gary Rowett over to watch H play one day.
Give us a professional opinion.
He can stand there and abuse him, can't he, on the sideline? Yeah, but I think H would appreciate that, wouldn't he?
He actually would, I think. Give me a man of the match. I thought it was a hard-working performance across the whole side, really. Neil, who would you go for, though, if you had to pick one out of that?
If I had to pick one, it would be between Billy Mitch and George Saville. I would give it... Oh, God. I'm going to say Billy Mitchell because I thought he worked his bollocks off. Although that break from Saville in the 6th minute of injury time,
didn't he, mate? That was practically the length of the whole pitch. He's gone there pretty much.
And that summed up our performance actually, and what these players are willing to do. So it seems a bit harsh, considering a player goes to that effort not to give him man of the match. But I thought Billy Mitchell was absolutely outstanding today. Absolutely.
I wouldn't fight you over that. Saville, Billy Mitch. I'm going to name check Hutch because I thought that we looked pretty good defensively today, and that's been a common thread across the season. Jake looks so much more comfortable now. So does Murray.
We were very confident in defence, weren't we?
Yeah.
We've gone to the flat back four.
Yeah,
it shows. Murray looks a lot more comfortable at right back. At left back, and his standards have dropped and his performances have dropped. Yeah, and you were kind of thinking, oh God, but he seems to have got his confidence back. The only thing I would say is that we are defending too narrow. Well, how many defenders have we got on that coaching staff? We shouldn't really be. Yeah, but that's only a small minor point. But yeah, no, I take your point. And to be fair, I've been a critic of him playing, but you can't argue with George Long at the moment, can you? He really
the results are doing the talking, and I'm just looking at the league table. That's doing some talking as well. We're in 10th position after this win today. 2 points, just one win behind Reading, who are in 6th spot. So I imagine when Gary Rowett's coaching Harry and critiquing his defensive performance, he might remind him that we're just 2 points now off of the golden land of the playoff zone. So football turns so quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it is actually amazing. It was only a month ago that we were all thinking, oh, we're banging trouble here. Yeah. Then all of a sudden, the Bermondsey Guardiola you've seen the light. Yeah, he's no longer boring, Gary. He's now back to being Gary.
Flamboyant Rowett, yeah.
Flamboyant Gary, yeah. He's seen the light. He's changed the formation, and hopefully, I'm not going to read in the press this week that he mentions that 5 at the back, because I think today.
Let's not be hearing about that anymore, Gary. Let's not be hearing about that anymore. There we are. Good day to be a Millwall fan. Well done, every one of the 1,100 plus fans that went out. That came across loud and clear on the television. Well done, everybody. Well done, the team.
There, wasn't it? It was honestly like a morgue, and the only thing you could hear was the Zion Fleming song and one or two others. Yeah, and you didn't really hear Bristol City even when they scored. They were flat, weren't they?
They were moderate. They were very moderate.
They were like Brian Tinian before the match, weren't they?
No, but maybe he's contagious, Brian Tinian condition or something. I don't know. But we're gonna play out the show today, listeners. It's very impromptu, very quick, straight after the game. But I'm going to play you out now with the Zion Fleming song. I think that's a great way to close it. Thank you, Neil, for for coming on the show so quickly after the game. Appreciated.
Yeah, no problem, mate. No problem. We'll always look forward to talking about a win.
Absolutely. And let's close out with the travelling Millwall supports choir down there at Bristol. Until the next show midweek. Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Whoa!